where it ends up with Bella.
I know.
I hope
It's
these
a
med
fantasy.
beds are real. Like, I know they're real.
Yeah.
I just want them, I can't wait for it's like.
It's the dark version of some guy in rural Texas that fantasizes that 20 Mexican people are gonna storm onto his thing and he's gonna have to gun them all down. Like, that's the fantasizing that people do when they could just get a goddamn hobby.
Yeah.
Golf is fun, I've discovered, try that. Your president even does it. He's telling you to try it. Anyway, that's all the time we have. Thank you, everybody, for now. Stay safe out there, stay sane out there, and we'll see you soon.
welcome. It's indisputable. I'm your host, Rashad Ritchie. Good to be with you. We have a lot on the agenda today. Breaking that news of the day, none other than our dear brother from another mother. Jamie Lowe is on the show today. Great to have his analysis as always. Brilliant.
Great to be here.
Individual. Top story of the day. Well, hell of a thing. Black teen arrested after a white CVS worker makes a false claim. Then it goes viral and we got questions. Here it is.
You did this. You did this. You did this. No, I was in the store the entire time, honey. I saw it all. No, defend you because he did nothing wrong. You were following him from the time he walked in the store.
What happened
No,
outside.
honey, no.
Just let them touch this way. I can hear you. I don't need you yelling. I'm not a child. And I'm not your child. This is what happens.
Exactly.
They would have never. Just let them cuff you. Just let them cuff you. That's dead wrong. I work here. I don't want to go to work here.
And I was here the entire time and saw everything what happened.
That's dead.
Please calm down.
Get off of him.
Please calm down.
Y'all called because he pulled a knife on you.
No, he didn't. He didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing. He didn't. Let me tell you something. If she don't know the slang, she needs to shut the hell up because the only thing he said, he'll pull out a band, and a band is money. If she don't know the slang, she needs to shut the hell up. And he don't got no weapon.
Look at that.
I want us to all understand what just happened. Put up the picture full mass. You have an employee of said agency, CVS. This employee decides to accuse a child of having a weapon. You make that kind of accusation, you need to be absolutely positive because, see, that accusation can get someone ill. The accusation happened to be false, wrong, incorrect. So every response from a parent or even bystander is fitting. Here we go. Black teen arrested after a white CVS worker makes a false claim. An encounter between a CVS employee and a black teenager escalated to a 911 call that ended in the teen's arrest after the employee alleged he had a knife when he did not. Local news outlets report that police officers in North Charleston, South Carolina, were called to a CVS store on September 29th to respond to a disturbance involving a youth. One witness recorded the arrest, confronts the employee who called 911 and reported that the child threatened her. The witness says, "You did this." CVS employee says, quote, "You didn't understand what he did. He threatened me with a knife," end quote. The witness says, "No, I was in the store the entire time, honey. I saw it all." CVS employee, quote, "Then why didn't you defend me?" Witness, "Defend you because he did nothing wrong," end quote. Now, an investigation, according to the Post, by the North Charleston Police Department has revealed that no policy violations occurred during an incident at a CVS pharmacy parking lot where a juvenile was subdued and detained after allegedly possessing a knife. However, upon further investigation by officers at the scene on Thursday, no weapon was found. So the woman recording the arrest adds that the CVS cashier who called the cops mistook the slang the teen used for a threat. Quote, "The only thing he said he would pull out is a band. And that means band of money." She shouted, "If she don't know the slang, she need to shut the hell up," end quote. Let's put up the chief here. You know, ironically, police officers go through slang training. They do. And sometimes it's contextualized through the culture of gang affiliation or just everyday street slang. It's a language. The North Charleston police chief, Ron Camacho, said in a statement, quote, "The caller reported that a male individual inside the store was yelling, using profane language, and had allegedly threatened the staff. It was also indicated that the individual may have been armed with a knife." End quote. Police said once they located the teen matching the description, they took him into custody after a brief struggle. However, no weapon was found. No injuries were reported. Authorities said that after they took the teen into custody, they charged him with third-degree assault and breach of peace before releasing him back to his parents. Quote, "We understand that this incident has raised questions within our community, especially given that it involved a juvenile. While there have been reports that the individual may have been selling candy, that detail remains unconfirmed," the chief says. "We're not asking about no damn candy. Did he have a knife or not, chief? Was there a deadly weapon on his person? Did he show a knife and threaten to use a knife?" Police also concluded that the responding officers violated no policies after conducting an internal investigation into the incident. Quote, "In accordance with department policy, incidents involving any use of force are reviewed by our Office of Professional Standards, Internal Affairs, and the Use of Force Training Unit. No policy violations were identified," Camacho said. "Did you have a right to engage the juvenile based on no evidence that the juvenile did anything illegal? Did you have a right to arrest the juvenile, to detain the juvenile?" It's amazing to me how the rhetoric from the chief or the chief's office is all about protecting the chief, protecting the grown folks, protecting the individuals who made a victim from a juvenile who was inside of a store using slang. Thank God for the person inside of the store who was able to provide clarity, a recording, and set the record straight. Isn't it interesting that no one is talking about the juvenile, but that bystander and indisputable and folk who saw this story and give a damn? It seems to me that the police department would be on the side of the juvenile, that the police department would realize their duty to serve and say something like, I don't know, the officers jumped to conclusions based on the description of the caller. The juvenile is safe. Charges have been dropped, et cetera, et cetera. But instead, it seems like a lawyer and a PR person got together to craft a narrative in order to save your ass rather than give a damn about the juvenile who simply was inside of a CVS, a place where, you go to get remedy for health issues. All right, dear brother, thoughts here?
Well, first of all, I'm gonna have to put that quote on a t-shirt. If she don't know the slang, she need to shut the hell up.
There you go.
It's probably my favorite thing I've heard about a story like this before. Did they use excessive force against that juvenile? Probably, but I think more needs to be talked about. The CVS woman, charges need to be pressed against her because she acted entirely too rashly. She misinformed the police. And so they answered to a call expecting this child to be in possession of a deadly weapon. And that was a lie. She had no basis to make that lie, to make that claim, and I think charges need to be brought. We see stories like this time and time again. They're not ever going to, by their benevolence, give us respect and equal rights. The only way we're going to have to get them is to not abuse, but take advantage of the judicial system like it is taking an advantage against us. So people like this CVS worker have weaponized the police, law enforcement, the judicial system against people of color for centuries. So it's about time that we start suing everybody that calls police on us. Every time somebody calls the police on me going out, not that it happens frequently. I don't know if I've ever had police call me. Call it right back on them. So this woman is misinforming you. She's abusing an emergency service. So charges need to be pressed against her, and sue CVS too, because you're employing some kind of crazy person that's imagining knives on people and calling the police on customer base. That's not the only way that things are going to change is if we start affecting people's bottom dollar. If we start to enrich ourselves based on other people's ignorance. Yeah. That's what I think, at least.
Yeah, and I'm waiting on CVS for an official response. I will give you all a few days before we update the story. All right. We knew what would happen eventually. Very sad. ICE agent fatally shoots a man during a Chicago raid, and guess what? Lies about it. Here we go.
In front of the VCA. You tried to run us over. Okay. One officer down the road. Okay, where's he at? No, he's not the one that got. That's you? Oh, okay. I'm the driver. You're the driver? Yeah. Okay, get off the road. Okay. You guys good? What's up? You guys good? I got an ambulance coming for you guys, all right? Any other suspects? Say again? Any other suspects?
No, the suspects?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, is he the only one? Is there anybody else?
That's somebody else out? Hey, stop. The kid.
This may not be the first time this has happened. 2 weeks ago, a man was shot and killed by ICE in Franklin Park, Illinois. ICE issued a statement justifying the killing. Now we actually have the footage of the officer's first reaction to this. This footage was at the scene. But speaking over a radio, the federal agent who told the police that Villegas Gonzalez tried to use his chair as a weapon said his partner had suffered, quote, a left knee injury and some lacerations to his hand. Nothing major. The injured agent said, nothing major. His partner echoed. We have the footage. Watch.
And our law enforcement officer is in serious condition.
Just a left knee injury and some lacerations to his hand. Nothing major. Officer, wouldn't it be states at a minimum? No, because it's a federal shooting. They're not going to investigate a federal officer.
Nothing major. Report serious injuries. Nothing major. Serious injuries. 2 weeks ago, a man was shot and killed by ICE. Shortly after, ICE issued a statement justifying the killing, saying the federal agent was, quote, seriously injured. Seriously injured. Pritzker said, referring to a statement from the Department of Homeland Security. Body cam videos from Franklin Park police officers showed the hurt ICE agent describing his own injuries as, quote, nothing major. Pritzker on Monday focused on that comment, saying the video, quote, has brought to light that the injuries were, in the agent's own words, nothing major. A man is dead, a community is shaken up, and we are yet again left with more questions than answers. Put them up. See, that's called a human being, a man, a person, a soul, flesh and blood. 38-year-old Severio Villegas Gonzalez was killed that day. Mr. Gonzalez was shot and killed September 12th after 2 ICE agents pulled him over, according to the Department of Homeland Security. The federal agency said Mr. Gonzalez dragged one of the officers a significant distance with his car after he resisted arrest and attempted to flee, injuring the agent who, quote, fearing for his own life, end quote, opened fire. This was a traffic stop turned fatal. Mr. Gonzalez, a single father of 2 children, was driving to work after having dropped off his sons, who are 6 years of age and 3. He dropped them off at school and daycare on the morning of September 12th, according to relatives and friends. As Mr. Gonzalez was driving his car, a silver Subaru, a white unmarked Jeep, pulled in front of him, according to security video from a nearby nail salon, broadcast by local CBS Chicago. 2 ICE agents are seen getting out of the Jeep. One agent approached Mr. Gonzalez on the passenger side of his Subaru, and the other agent on the driver's side. I want you to think about the scene. You have a dutiful father, regardless of the context you would like to describe him in, being documented or undocumented. You have a father who is dutiful to his children, to his family, and to his responsibility as a provider. I thought that was the goal. Drops off his children. All of a sudden, 2 unmarked vehicles provide a maneuver. They engage in a maneuver that typically would warrant one to believe they are being robbed. He tries to flee, according to the report. However, no videos show the actual shooting. The ICE agent being dragged. No video shows the ICE agent being injured, making it difficult to corroborate DHS's account of what actually happened. The agents themselves were not wearing body cameras. A DHS official told NBC News, well, why are they not wearing body cameras? Because federal law allows them not to. That's why. As a matter of fact, that federal law is so absolute that if your local police, if they are involved in the federal task force, guess what? Even if it's law that your local police wear cameras, well, the federal law overrides your local law. And all of a sudden, your local police officers are no longer wearing the lawfully required body cameras. It's a workaround, it's a trick. They've done it in Atlanta many times. There's more. Speaking over radio, the federal agent who told the police that Mr. Gonzalez tried to use his car as a weapon said his partner has suffered a left knee injury and some lacerations to his hands. Quote, nothing major. The injured agent said, nothing major. His partner echoed. That's called a direct utterance. An excited utterance during the moment. Permissible. Get you away from the hearsay laws in the court of law. An excited utterance in the moment. Admissible in a court of law. Why? Because you don't have time to make up a story. That's why it's not categorized as hearsay, or at least is hearsay that's admissible. Yes, you didn't have time to make up a lie in the midst of the moment. Excited utterance. And then the excited utterance is confirmed by the partner. Shortly after the shooting, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security reported the agent, quote, sustained multiple injuries and was, quote, seriously injured when he was, quote, dragged a significant distance by Mr. Gonzalez's car as he fled a traffic stop. These are narratives and not truth. DHS official said the agent had opened fire fearing for his life. Also in Chicago, An ICE operation left children zip-tied in a horrific apartment building raid. Roughly 300 agents, according to News Nations, raided the building. 37 people were arrested. The Department of Homeland Security released a statement alleging that, quote, some of the targeted subjects are believed to be involved in drug trafficking and distribution, weapons crimes, and immigration violators. But Patricia Fisher, who lives in the building, told ABC 7 Chicago that ICE agents forced everyone out and only asked questions later. Fisher said she was handcuffed and questioned before being released at around 3 a.m. The officer, she noted, just treated us like we were nothing. And it was scary because I had never had a gun in my face, end quote. Another ABC 7 interviewee ducked upon hearing flashbangs detonate and was then distressed by the sight of children detained. Quote, they was bringing the kids down too, had them zip tied to each other, she said. Quote, that's all I kept asking. What is the morality? Where's the human, meaning humanity? One of them literally laughed. He was standing right here. He said, F them kids. I feel pity for you. Yeah, I'm upset. Yeah, I think you're disgusting and immoral. But at the end of the day, I have pity for you. F them kids. See, what you don't know is that you live inside of a universe. And while it may seem that you all are getting away with something, or it may seem you can hide behind your mask and your commander and savior, Donald Trump, and your statute here and your statute there, none of us will ever be able to get away from the karma that can come when you decide to harm these little ones. And that is what you have decided to do. You don't need a job that bad where you have to sell your soul to get a paycheck. It's not worth it. And I would imagine if you feel like this about children today, you felt like this about children prior to getting that job. I would also imagine that they are hiring individuals who have this kind of mentality. Where's your whistleblowers? Where's the decent human being here and there? They can't be found. Well, there's a cultural shift. A witness of the same name told Chicago Sun-Times, it was heartbreaking to see kids coming out butt naked and taken from their mothers, end quote. Witness Daryl Ballard recalled seeing the agents use, quote, a big 15-inch chainsaw to cut down the fence. Quote, we're under siege, he said. Quote, we're being invaded by our own military. That's right. It looks like a military occupation than a law enforcement raid, right? And here's the irony. We're forced to pay for our own oppression. It's coming directly from taxpayer dollars. That money they sift from your hard-earned paycheck every week goes toward madness like that domestically. Now, they already make us pay for their wars abroad. Now they're making us pay for them domestically too. Quote, I asked agents why they were holding me if I was an American citizen. They don't give a damn, American citizen or not. And they said I had to wait until they looked me up, Johnson told the Sun-Times. Quote, I asked if they had a warrant, and I asked for a lawyer. They never brought one. The governor, J.B. Pritzker, had issued a response to the recent raids. Here it is. for governor to have them arrested. You have the authority. It's called concurrent jurisdiction. Have them arrested for breaking the law. That's what they would do to your law enforcement if your law enforcement actually followed the law and somehow following the law got in the way of them not following the law. They would simply arrest your local law enforcement. Jamie, thoughts here?
Well, speaking, he said, it's not policy to just arrest the usual suspects, arrest people because they're black and brown. But unfortunately, this Supreme Court, that is enough for ICE. ICE can detain people on suspicion just because they look vaguely Hispanic. I don't even know why they bother coming up with these fantastical stories. Why do they even bother lying about the extent of the officer's injuries? Because they have absolutely no checks and balances on them. The Trump administration has emboldened this Gestapo. I mean, they wearing masks, unmarked vehicles, no badges, no cameras, assaulting journalists, arresting elected officials, detaining and deporting anyone they feel like, regardless of citizenship status. I mean, the extrajudicial killings now. This is what fascism is. When people throw up a red flag because we throw around that term, perhaps there are some people on the left who throw around that term a little not carefully, but this is directly fascism. This is state-sponsored violence. And you can say what you want about local law enforcement, and that we have said quite a good deal about them because there's a lot wrong with them. But at least there is some modicum of oversight with your police. At least they're required to. There is internal affairs that investigates their actions. They do require to wear body cameras. ICE is just the Wild West at this point, doing God knows what under some authority that they've created for themselves. I mean, they've actively declared war on the American people, unfortunately. I mean, we need common sense immigration reform, but this could not be further from that.
That's right. And hopefully there's a remedy coming soon. But the way it's looking so far, you don't have the leadership among the Democratic ranks in order to enforce either judicially or by way of direct command, and enforcement of the actual stated statutory rules and regulations that apply, making sure the citizens' rights are intact. We'll bring you updates as they come. I got to go to a break. We got more on the other side. It's indisputable. Stick and stay. Indisputable exclusive, disputable exclusive. We brought you this first. No other news agency has this video. No other news agency has this story.
Every week on Indisputable, we do original, exclusive, investigative reporting you'll find nowhere else.
Our reports have been viewed by millions. Hosted by Sean King, Ben Crump, Senator John Ossoff.
You, through your investigative reporting, unearthed very troubling allegations about specific forms of abuse and discrimination in the federal prison system.
We catching these cases on camera. Just imagine the things that we don't see.
Our groundbreaking investigations and exclusive interviews bring you the real voices no one else wants you to hear. We tell the stories.
Imagine a prison that is so racist, the corrections officers contact me. That is a life or death situation being created. A black woman who was driving for Uber was allegedly assaulted by a white male passenger. After we got involved, roughly 24 hours later, the police all of a sudden opened up an investigation. What was going through your mind when bullets were simply flying inside of your vehicle?
Honestly, I thought I was going to die.
Did these officers ever say that you fit the description of somebody they were looking for? Did they say that?
Never.
Okay, that means they lied.
And we want you to be part of our truth-telling movement. Send pictures and video of stories no one else is telling and a 1 or 2 paragraph summary of the story to Indisputable's exclusive tip line at indvideos@tyt.com.
If you have more information about what's happening at this particular facility, please let me know.
Together, we're challenging the system, and together, we're making a difference.
I have the entire background to this story, and it is going to make your blood boil.
Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie, unveiling the truth, empowering the people. Weekdays at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific.
All right, welcome back. Always good to be with you. We got a lot to cover. Let me read some of these comments. Raymond_Dragon. Hope Karma bites CVS, the clerk, and the cops in the form of a massive lawsuit. There you go. Next, TYT reporter. Lying about it should be additional criminal charges. Seems too simple, doesn't it? Bubba Franks, the sword dragon, everybody except the criminal is throwing around red herring. The CVS employee committed a crime, period. Kendrick Simmons. And ICE trying to be at the Super Bowl too? Yeah. Rachel Banning, how do I get Dr. Rich a video from today? So my neighbors in Chicago getting gassed because they were stuck behind a scooter that wouldn't move because tear gas out the window of their SUV. Send that to our email. Jordan, what's that email? Is it indisputable? Yeah.
Tips, indisputable tips.
Indisputable tips. All right. Indisputable tips at TYT. Okay. All right. That's how you can get the video to us. And Skittlebutt_Dragon_Rasp. I'll prosecute them for murder. There you go. All right. What if I told you that the cops decide to handcuff a man for being a good Samaritan, trying to pay for a meal for a homeless man? I kid you not. Put him up full mass. This is what you get for being a good Samaritan in Trump's America. The cops handcuff a black man for trying to help a homeless man, according to Atlanta Black Star. In Iowa, Mr. Eddie Kirby spotted 2 cops threatening to arrest a homeless man for shoplifting. So he told the cops he would pay for the items since he knew the man from the neighborhood. But the Des Moines police ended up handcuffing him, threatening to arrest him for interfering with their investigation. So sad. Now, Mr. Kirby has filed a federal lawsuit against those 2 cops, Michael Hoops and Brian Loftus, accusing them of violating his 4th Amendment rights, false arrest, and trespass to a person. Also listed as a defendant is the city itself because the detainment took place while they were in fact on duty representing the city. The initial detainment by the police took place on August 17th, 2023, while Mr. Kirby was pumping gas into his car at a local convenience store. The cops arrived after receiving a call that the homeless man had been shoplifting. Mr. Kirby recognized the man from his neighborhood and tried to help him out by offering to pay for the items he was accused of stealing. Now, let me say this. I'm from a place where this is not abnormal. On Glenwood Road, many times I've seen somebody roughed up by the cops because they were just trying to get some food. Or they said at a restaurant, the restaurant didn't want them there because they were non-local and maybe they didn't like the appearance. People like Mr. Kirby, people like myself, we jump in. We live there. We care about them. They have been de facto mentors to us on occasion. And we know that they mean no harm. And so we pay for their meal. 9 times out of 10, it's allowed. 9 times out of 10, it's allowed. But in this particular case, they wanted to make a criminal out of Mr. Kirby for doing what we all would say, well, that's going above and beyond. That's a good person. We would all say that. As a matter of fact, I have seen police officers. We've covered them on Indisputable. We have seen police officers, the good ones, do things like this as well. And we have reported on those good cops because we're not anti-cop. We're anti-bad cop. But now the police are saying, well, that qualifies you as a criminal today. While paying for the items, the cops told him they were going to arrest the homeless man anyway because he had violated a trespassing order from the store. The cops handcuffed the homeless man, placed him in the back of the patrol car. They then sat in the front seat of the car and typed the man's name into the computer, discovering he did not have a trespass warning against him. So there were no grounds for the arrest. Meanwhile, Mr. Kirby drove his car next to the patrol car to ask cops how much his bail would be in order to get the man released. Quote, "How much does it cost?" he asked. Quote, "Hey, go away," the cop ordered. One of the cops then stepped out of his patrol car and approached Kirby, who also stepped out of his car with his hands raised, asking what he had done wrong. The cop ordered him to turn around and handcuffed him, accusing him of interfering with their investigation. But apparently the cops realized they had erred and released him and his friend with no charges and no citation. What a ridiculous, unearned, unforced, let me put it that way, error. So the police could have said, hey, if you're going to pay for it, no harm, no foul. There's no shoplifting for us to investigate. Hey, guy, let's go and fight some real damn crime. But no. They decided to arrest the homeless man. They didn't care that the items were already paid for, which means you can't arrest for shoplifting. So now they're arresting him for violating a trespass order. So they put his name inside of the computer database. Come to find out, there's no trespass warning. There is no trespass violation without first a trespass warning. That's how they do it. So there's no trespass warning on the books, meaning you can't arrest him for trespass. You have to create the trespass warning now. Now, if he comes back later, that can be an arrestable offense. So everybody's following the law. You would think that's the goal of law enforcement, is law-abiding community members. There's no shoplifting now. There's no depreciation of items. There's no trespass. There's no crime. There's no reason for you to be here. Kirby responded by filing a lawsuit in state court, which was transferred to federal court earlier this month, claiming to have suffered humiliation, degradation, public ridicule, loss of personal reputation, emotional distress over the unlawful detainment. Iowa is one of the highest disparity states in the nation between black and white people arrested and imprisoned. That's according to the ACLU of Iowa. Not surprisingly, the local police has been sued in the past for racial profiling. No surprise there, including by one black male arrested for recording the police during a traffic stop. They had to give him a $25,000 check. September 6th, Mr. Kirby again posted a 10-minute video to his Facebook page showing how he was detained by 3 Ankeny police officers in his own neighborhood. Here's a portion of that encounter.
I'm being harassed in front of my house for taking a walk at night. Like, what the f? I ain't checking. Who's for door handle I check? Who's?
You got called in, man. Look,
bro, I didn't get called in nothing at all, bro.
Said a black male, we're all black.
Man, that's a lie, bro.
Of somebody breaking the cars.
Bro, that's a lie.
2 weeks ago.
That's a lie. Okay, I live right here.
Okay, great. You have something that shows this?
I don't have to show you nothing. I don't have to show you anything. I live right here, bro. I'm going in my house.
No, hold on, I'm not done with you. Come here.
Am I under arrest? Am I under arrest?
You're detained right now.
For what?
Figure out who you are.
Man, bro, y'all tripping. I ain't got to tell you nothing.
Okay, so you got called in.
No, I did not.
Okay, what's your address?
I don't have to tell you. I live here.
How do I know you live here?
I don't have to tell you that.
How do you know? How do I know you live here?
Come on, bro. Stop that.
How do I know you live here?
How you know I was checking door handles? How do you know I was checking door handles?
You got called in, man.
No, I did not, man. Stop lying.
Why?
I didn't get called in at all.
Am I free to go, officer? Am I under arrest? Am I free to go? That's it. Am I under arrest? Am I free to go? That's it. Nothing else. You have the right to remain silent. The right. Later in the video, after several more minutes of attempting to intimidate him into identifying himself, they gave up, realizing that he was not going to give in. Quote, Am I free to go? He asked. Yeah, you're free to go. A cop responded sarcastically. Quote, have a great night walking out there. Atlanta Black Star reached out to Kirby for comment, but he did not respond. Why is it that police officers, not all of them, but some of them, why get upset when somebody knows the law and follows the law? I don't know. I would assume that if somebody's a cop, they care about the law. They care about community. So there's a person in the community who says, okay, in order for this not to be a crime, I'm going to pay for this, and I'm going to talk to this man myself because I know him. And if you want to trespass him from the property, you can do so today, which means if he comes back, he can be arrested. I will explain that to him as well. But today, he's just a man who needs some food. So I'm going to take care of this. Sounds like a win-win for everybody. You assert your rights, you assert what the law says, and the person who is supposed to enforce those laws gets upset. It's like a professor getting mad because you know how to learn. If you're mad at people who learn, don't be a professor. If you're mad at people who know the law, don't be a cop. All right, dear brother, thoughts here.
Sue him some more, and sue him again. Good for Mr. Kirby for taking that action. I think that's the only thing that's going to start to slow down this trend that we're seeing is when cities are having to pay out $25,000 check at one after the other. Eventually, we will get new reforms at police enforcement. The last time I was on this show with Sharon, I believe we covered a story about a good Samaritan, a black man who saw what turned out to be a police officer who was having car trouble on the side of the road, approaches him in a hazard vest and still gets shot fatally for trying to be a good Samaritan. We have lost the thread in this country when we are penalizing people who are being good people, who are going out their way to try to better other people's lives. And it's the cops who are stepping down their foot and saying, not on my watch will you be a good person. You do that, you get killed, you get arrested. I like I'm assuming you do know many people in law enforcement, men and women who are decent human beings who show discretion and they don't waste state resources on arresting homeless people and people trying to feed homeless people. But unfortunately, they appear to be the minority because you have people like this who abuse their power. They do get frustrated when they think you know more than they do, because oftentimes they do not do their due diligence and learn what the actual law is. They get angry and they think that empowers them to do whatever they feel like. But that's not the reality. So whenever you push back against their narrative of the reality, they're going to get angry and they're going to do things they shouldn't do. And our response should be sue them, sue them, sue them, and sue them some more.
Man, I had one of the greatest criminal law professors in the country, Professor Phillips. And ironically, he used to be a cop. And so a lot of his context for criminal law had to do with him in real life scenarios when he was a police officer. And what you would hear over and over again in this theme, this is before he went to law school, he had a real respect and appreciation for the actual rule of law. He really respected it. Even before he went to law school, got a law degree, became a criminal lawyer or a criminal professor for criminal law. He knew he had to learn the actual law, and he did so in his capacity as a cop. And it stayed with him when he went to law school. He actually graduated top of the law school when he went to law school, which would make sense since he had a lot of context for it, being a person already in law enforcement. We need more people like him, is my point. Right. All right, we got more on the other side. It's indisputable, stick and stay. Indisputable exclusive. Exclusive, disputable, exclusive. We brought you this first. No other news agency has this video. No other news agency has this story.
Every week on Indisputable, we do original, exclusive, investigative reporting you'll find nowhere else.
Our reports have been viewed by millions. Hosted by Sean King, Ben Crump, Senator John Ossoff.
You, through your investigative reporting, unearthed very troubling allegations about specific forms of abuse and discrimination in the federal prison system.
We catching these cases on camera. Just imagine the things that we don't see.
Our groundbreaking investigations and exclusive interviews bring you the real voices no one else wants you to hear. We tell the stories.
Imagine a prison that is so racist, the corrections officers contact me. That is a life or death situation being created. A black woman who was driving for Uber was allegedly assaulted by a white male passenger. After we got involved, roughly 24 hours later, the police all of a sudden opened up an investigation. What was going through your mind when bullets were simply flying inside of your vehicle?
Honestly, I thought I was going to die.
Did these officers ever say that you fit the description of somebody they were looking for? Did they say that?
Never.
Okay, that means they lied.
And we want you to be part of our truth-telling movement. Send pictures and video of stories no one else is telling and a 1 or 2 paragraph summary of the story to Indisputable's exclusive tip line at indvideos@tyt.com.
If you have more information about what's happening at this particular facility, please let me know.
Together, we're challenging the system, and together, we're making a difference.
I have the entire background to this story, and it is going to make your blood boil.
Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie, unveiling the truth, empowering the people. Weekdays at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific.
All right, welcome back. Always good to be with you. We got a lot of comments. We'll read as many as I can. Raymond_Dragon. And I bet those cops are good, decent churchgoers every Sunday. Yeah.
Sit on the front row.
Front row, deacon boy. Even. Embedded dude, Trump is perfectly willing to arrest ER doctors for saving illegal aliens' lives. Yeah, and he put it in quotes, illegal aliens, yeah. Let's see, Sagacious Dragon, I think. Dear Dr. Richard, please encourage your listeners to post in the chat box provided. I learned a lot from viewer input, member for 75 months. Thank you for that, and I have done so. Yep, Swift says, gotta make the quota. And Twitch, Thomas, quote, how did I know you live here? How do I know you live here? Sir, how do I know you're an officer? That's a good common damn sense. There you go. If any cop asks me that, I'm going to use that. How do I know you're an officer? It's called deductive reasoning. All right. Got something for you. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish a Karen would.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday.
I feel free! Back off! I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life. What the? Dude, get out! Get the out! Are you protected? I'm protected! Get out of here!
my God! No!
A Nazi male Karen interrupts a psychology class at University of Washington. The students and the professor end up chasing the male Karen. He thought this was the regular psychology class. And obviously, this psychology class was about that action. University officials are now investigating everybody involved. Here it is. Male Karen was arrested. Here it is.
Post-game interview. How we feeling? Post-game interview. How we feeling? There's like 30 of them. Honestly, like. Is that Owen Wanathan or what? Make a hole. Yeah, it was like 30 of them.
That's a hell of a psychology class. Somebody please tell my brother Charlemagne that this has to be the dunk of the day next week. Just make sure, just tag him, tell him it's a personal request. This has to be the donkey of the day. Put him on full mass. Sir, what the hell were you thinking? Nazi male Karen interrupts a college class, gets instant karma. Nazi male Karen disrupted a psychology class at the University of Washington. It ended with the professor and the students chasing after this particular male Karen. Ultimately, it ended with the male Karen's arrest. In case you couldn't hear what the Karen was shouting, University of Washington police are investigating an incident where a man interrupted a human sexuality lecture. Okay? A viral video of the incident shows the intruder shouting gay slurs and appearing to make a Nazi salute as the class jeered him after the professor and dozens of students ran the man out of the building. He appeared to film the professor yelling at him. Eventually, someone else ran up and appeared to pepper spray the intruder, obviously in fear for their lives. UW spokesperson Victor Balta said the case is under investigation for possible criminal charges and that the police are still investigating, including the person who pepper sprayed the intruder. But he's the intruder. He's the guy who's trespassing. He's the guy who possibly poses a life or death threat. Okay? Belter said the intruder is not a UW student and will be banned from the campus. Balta also encouraged the staff and students to call the university police rather than put themselves in risk in such situations. But hey, listen. They didn't know what this guy was about to do. He came in aggressive, boisterous. Some people see Nazi symbolism as a point of contact for a threat, point of reference for threat. And they, responded in kind. Seems like self-defense to me, sir. And in all due respect, they did not whoop his ass. They simply ran after him until he ran out of breath and put him under arrest. All right, Jamie, thoughts?
Well, we don't know they didn't whoop his ass.
We don't have the video footage for that.
Right. He may not be a student, but he definitely received the best education out of anybody on that campus instantly, receiving that co-ed ass whooping like that. First of all, we don't condone violence of any kind. But, sometimes if you fool around and find out, my heart does not bleed too heavily for you. But on a more serious note, after Charlie Kirk's shooting, now the right wing is up in arms about how the left uses terms like fascism and Nazism and racist, and as though those terms are now off limits. What do you call somebody who rushes in a college campus and starts doing a Hitler salute? Is that not a Nazi?
That's right.
These people are everywhere. They're crawling all over the place, and they're emboldened. So this young man, this Nazi, that's what he is, felt like he is now empowered by this day and age's right wing to just walk in a random building and start throwing up Hitler salutes. Right. You know, where is America when we cannot all agree that Nazism is a bad thing? Granted, I'm glad that this entire classroom, including their professor, agreed to that, and at least pepper sprayed them. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, allegedly, I guess. But
yeah, and let's not forget the Charlie Kirk killing happened on the college campus, and in the narrative, we sometimes forget to talk about the students who were made to witness that, who have been victimized by fear. And this is students. These students are taking a stand and saying they will not be victims. They will not be afraid to learn in an academic environment. And if you provide some level of threat or some kind of aggression during an academic exercise, which a lecture is, that they are ready to defend themselves and they are ready to not simply sit down and let it happen to them. And that's what you see here. And so I'm proud of the students for standing up. Campus police, they were not around. Security guard was not present. They had to be their own security, and they did not engage in any additional action against the student. At least we don't have that on record. We'll bring you updates as they come. The university investigation is concurrent. We got more on the other side. It's indisputable. Stay. Indisputable, exclusive, disputable, exclusive. We brought you this first. No other news agency has this video. No other news agency has this story.
Every week on Indisputable, we do original, exclusive, investigative reporting you'll find nowhere else.
Our reports have been viewed by millions. Hosted by Sean King, Ben Crump, Senator John Ossoff.
You, through your investigative reporting, unearthed very troubling allegations about specific forms of abuse and discrimination in the federal prison system.
We catching these cases on camera. Just imagine the things that we don't see.
Our groundbreaking investigations and exclusive interviews bring you the real voices no one else wants you to hear. We tell the stories.
Imagine a prison that is so racist, the corrections officers contact me. That is a life or death situation being created. A black woman who was driving for Uber was allegedly assaulted by a white male passenger. After we got involved, roughly 24 hours later, the police all of a sudden opened up an investigation. What was going through your mind when bullets were simply flying inside of your vehicle?
Honestly, I thought I was going to die.
Did these officers ever say that you fit the description of somebody they were looking for? Did they say that?
Never.
Okay, that means they lied.
And we want you to be part of our truth-telling movement. Send pictures and video of stories no one else is telling and a 1 or 2 paragraph summary of the story to Indisputable's exclusive tip line at indvideos@tyt.com.
If you have more information about what's happening at this particular facility, please let me know.
Together, we're challenging the system, and together, we're making a difference.
I have the entire background to this story, and it is going to make your blood boil.
Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie, unveiling the truth, empowering the people. Weekdays at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific.
Well, here we go. Rivalry gets even deeper. FAMU Announcer has insulted Alabama State University's dance team over their weight. Here it is.
Congratulate them. They're now the new face of Ozempic.
put up the picture full mask. In related news, we have not heard from the brother since. No, I'm just. Let's keep the picture up. So first of all, this ASU's dance team, they are best in the business. They are very popular. They get the crowd going, plus size intentional. And this is one of those dynamics where it's a beautiful thing. You have to be in the arena to understand it. He didn't read the room well at all. So the FAMU Announcer, according to Ebony Magazine on September 27th, Honeybees, Alabama State University's plus size dance troupe, were mocked during the football game between Alabama State University and Florida A&M University, FAMU, right after their performance. FAMU's announcer, Joe Bullard, called them, quote, the new face of Ozempic. And as you can see, the crowd did not go wild for the right reason. He did not get the response he anticipated. An uproar of shock and disgust from the crowd and social media spread quickly. Why? Because they find these very talented women extremely talented women. That's why. That did not deserve the insult. And so it prompted the FAMU president, Marva Johnson, to issue a written apology on behalf of the institution. I knew the former president. Alabama State University president, Dr. Quentin T. Ross Jr. also released a statement. Quote, there is no place for disparaging or demeaning remarks directed at our scholars, end quote. But the reaction from the honeybees themselves, posting a shot on their Instagram account that shows what they do best, the team declared, the party don't stop. Bright attitude, looking forward to their next opportunity. Bullitt would also apologize. Quote, friends, friendly competition, and playful jesting have long been a part of HBCU, historically black colleges and universities, band culture. But I have come to understand that my words crossed the line, Joe Bullard, Florida A&M University's longtime band announcer, wrote on his Facebook on Monday, September 29th, according to the Tallahassee Democrat. Quote, my intention was to never belittle or disrespect the incredible young people who represent our schools with such grace, talent, and pride. Excuse me. They are the embodiment of our culture, and they deserve nothing less than our full respect, end quote. Bullard added that he hoped those who were offended by the remarks he made on Saturday, September 27th, during a halftime show at the Florida A&M Alabama State University football game could forgive him. Quote, my comments directed toward the ASU honeybees were meant as lighthearted banter, but I now recognize they come across in a way that was hurtful and disrespectful, Bullard wrote. He added, quote, for that, I extend my deepest and most heartfelt apologies, first and foremost, to the ASU honeybees, to Alabama State University, to the Alabama State University marching band, to Florida A&M University, and to the fans and supporters of both institutions who were in attendance, or anyone else who heard my words. To anyone who was offended, I am truly sorry. Let me give you a background on this dance troupe. The Major Red experience has been an integral part of the HBCU experience, but has often been characterized by slim dancers. When the honeybees take the field, they stand for inclusivity, buzzing off notions that our community must still conform to Eurocentric beauty standards while making a bold statement about self-love and acceptance. And it's a very beautiful thing, and it kind of has become trendy. I'm a graduate of an HBCU myself, Clark Atlanta University. And yes, the norm has been exactly as just stated, a very Eurocentric view of what they deem to be acceptable. And this is an intentional deviation of the norm, but a welcome one. And once again, the ladies are beautiful and talented. All right, beautiful inside and out. Founded in 2004. The Honeybees are the first HBCU dance team exclusively comprised of plus-size women and a vital part of ASU's mighty marching Hornets. Dr. James Oliver, ASU's band director, formed the group to provide a sisterhood space for plus-size dancers to show off their skills. In addition to their grueling performance schedule, they must be enrolled as full-time students at the university and maintain a decent grade average to be part of the team. And when I say gruesome, they were up at 5 a.m., okay? They were up at 5 a.m. doing routines, so it is a gruesome schedule. There's more. FAMU was fined and Bullard has been suspended. The Southwestern Athletic Conference has issued Florida A&M University a public reprimand and a $10,000 fine for long-time marching 100. Band announcer Joe Bullard's inappropriate remark that sparked national headlines that may come out as check. On top of the disciplinary action, Bullard has also been suspended for the next 2 upcoming football games, according to an October 1st release. But FAMU officials have yet to announce if they will take further disciplinary action. All right, dear brother, I'm glad you're on the show today. You are from and of Alabama. I spent a little time there for a couple of years in law school. But you are the native, dear brother. How does this shake out from Alabama? Is
First of all,
his apology enough, or will there be more needed?
You broke this news to me just 10 minutes ago, and when I heard it, I'm like, Lord, somebody let their drunk uncle up in the announcing booth. He definitely did not read the room. I have seen the Honeybees many times. They are very energetic. I mean, to me, they're the best. Part of the best band in the state of Alabama. I went to Auburn, which is a PWI, and on the occasion we played Alabama State, and to see all these non-people of color watching the Honeybees with those big old eyes, because they're just tremendously talented. I mean, the battle of bands that I did in high school, I've seen the Honeybees perform since I was young. I mean, they're definitely the crown jewel of the Alabama State University. To make you say that, but so for this man to just he needs to be our team for sure, the best one in the country. And I don't think he'll get it. I think he needs to be more than suspended, because you can't have somebody who's willing to make such an inappropriate joke at an inappropriate time like that. And I especially cannot stand when, as black men, we denigrate black women on a public forum. That just meant nothing curdles my stomach more than watching us attack one another in a public setting, or really in any setting, but definitely not when we, can make national news for it. I did not find his apology anywhere near where it needed to be. I'm glad that the FAMU president issued a statement. I'm glad that Dr. Ross, somebody who I worked with before, who's a great guy, I'm glad he issued a statement. And I'm glad the Honeybees just took it in strides, because I'm sure they used to disparaging comments like that, but they are probably the most competent people on the face of the planet.
That's right.
And they should be, because they're also some of the most talented people. I mean, I couldn't get out there and move nearly half as well as some of them do, but.
Yeah. After the first time you see it, you become a fan.
Right.
And you realize the level of talent and also preparation that's required to do something with that level of execution. And so we're very thankful for the Honeybees. All right, dear brother, as always, a pleasure having you on the program. Tell people how they can follow you, check out your great work.
I'm on Rebel HQ as under Jamie Lowe, and then you can follow me on JLowe_52 on all social media platforms.
Thank you, my friend. Until next time.
Until then.
All right, the bullpen is next. Stick and stay. Indisputable exclusive, disputable exclusive. We brought you this first. No other news agency has this video. No other news agency has this story.
Every week on Indisputable, we do original, exclusive, investigative reporting you'll find nowhere else.
Our reports have been viewed by millions. Hosted by Sean King, Ben Crump, Senator John Ossoff.
You, through your investigative reporting, unearthed very troubling allegations about specific forms of abuse and discrimination in the federal prison system.
We catching these cases on camera. Just imagine the things that we don't see.
Our groundbreaking investigations and exclusive interviews bring you the real voices no one else wants you to hear. We tell the stories.
Imagine a prison that is so racist, the corrections officers contact me. That is a life or death situation being created. A black woman who was driving for Uber was allegedly assaulted
piloted by a white male passenger. After we got involved, roughly 24 hours later, the police all of a sudden opened up an investigation. What was going through your mind when bullets were simply flying inside of your vehicle?
Honestly, I thought I was going to die.
Did these officers ever say that you fit the description of somebody they were looking for? Did they say that?
Never.
Okay, that means they lied.
And we want you to be part of our truth-telling movement. Send pictures and video of stories no one else is telling and a 1 or 2 paragraph summary of the story to Indisputable's exclusive tip line at indvideos@tyt.com.
If you have more information about what's happening at this particular facility, please let me know.
Together, we're challenging the system, and together, we're making a difference.
I have the entire background to this story, and it is going to make your blood boil.
Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie, unveiling the truth, empowering the people. Weekdays at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific.
You know what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the bullpen.
Women of color diagnosed with breast cancer are more likely to die from their disease than their white counterparts. African American women are more likely to be diagnosed earlier in life than white women, and it's unusual. Breast cancer diagnosis before the age of 40, for instance, is an unusual diagnosis. They're also more likely to be diagnosed with a more aggressive type of breast cancer.
We, as African American women, get a different type of breast cancer. It's known as a triple negative breast cancer.
Regina Hampton is a surgeon and co-founder of Breast Care for Washington.
It's not a hormone responsive breast cancer. Those who have a hormone responsive cancer can get a hormone type of treatment that they'll be on for 5 years that helps to decrease their risk of developing another breast cancer. When you have a triple negative breast cancer, you're gonna get your treatment, could be surgery with chemotherapy, could be radiation, but then there's no type of triple negative pill that we can put people on to help keep that cancer away.
A new study published in the Therapeutic Advances in Medical Oncology finds standard breast cancer treatments are less effective for Black women compared to other racial groups.
That's right. The American Cancer Society says 40% more Black women die from breast cancer than white women. That rate is nearly double when compared to Native American women. It is even higher compared to Hispanic, Asian, and Pacific Islander women. Researchers say that part of the problem is Black women are underrepresented in clinical trials, making up only 7% of enrollment.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And at Indisputable, we want to make sure we put the emphasis where the emphasis should be. You heard the data. To talk about this and more, we have on the program Dr. Nicole Gentry and also Anisa Palmer. Anisa Palmer is the CEO of I Will Survive Incorporated. Thank you both for being on the program. How are you?
Wonderful.
Amazing.
And to Ms. Palmer, I'm going to start with you to give us some insight into I Will Survive, and also to the guest, give some insight to this great survivor and why her story is so amazing, and how we can provide partnership with you this month and beyond to be part of a dynamic solution.
Absolutely, Dr. Ritchie. My mom was 38 years young when she passed away. And after my service in the military, we saw, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia had the highest mortality rates across the nation. With a background in a little bit footprint in Georgia it is. And so we've been running boots on ground 14 years now. And to date, the youngest survivor that we helped in her battle was 22 years young. And so we're seeing it younger and younger as years go on. And this beautiful story of the survivor that we do have to share with us in her 30s. And I won't share too much, but interesting journey that she endured with her battle with breast cancer.
Dr. Nicole Gentry, give us some insight into your journey and how I Will Survive was so helpful in helping you as you continue to live your life out loud.
Absolutely. So interestingly, I was diagnosed at 31, and it completely blindsided me. My family, we don't have a history of breast cancer. It was, in my opinion, stress induced. It was me neglecting my body. Breast cancer was not something that was on my radar. Most of us don't need to be tested for that type of diagnosis that early. But for me, unusually, I noticed what appeared to be a dent, an indentation in that region. And because, oftentimes, especially women of color, we often wear the superwoman cape with such grace, but we hide a lot of the pain and anguish that we're dealing with. And by the time that I decided to take action and actually address what this indentation was in my body, I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer, and I was triple positive. And so, yeah, that journey was very intense. At the time, I wasn't married. I didn't have any children. And I was told that because of the aggressive nature of this disease in my body, they gave me 1 month before it could metastasize from stage 2 to stage 4. And when you're in this pivotal point in your life, 31, I was really climbing the height of my career. I just launched my business, and it's extremely difficult. And that's where partnerships like I Will Survive come in handy and are extremely, extremely pivotal and critical. I was fortunate enough to meet Anisa at the time when I was just starting my radiation treatments. My facility was an hour and a half away from my house. So every day for 1 month, on top of surgeries, chemotherapy, immunotherapy, I had to go to this facility every day for a month. And it was through the grace and the mercy from I Will Survive. They were able to offer gas cards. They offered gift packages and just financial support that really allowed me to focus on my fight and not focus on some of the necessities to even show up.
That's phenomenal. Anisa, this is what we would call in the gap funding, where you may have funding that takes care of one major thing, but you can't get to this funding unless you can get to the facility. And that's costly in itself. So talk to us about what I Will Survive does as far as that in the gap funding for individuals, and how that particular apparatus was able to help Dr. Gentry.
Providing real support now is really critical for our organization. We have survivors who mentioned to us that they're counting pennies to get to and from treatments, and how that can, change the trajectory of the outcomes of their cancer journey. And so from paying rent, mortgages, so there aren't evictions and foreclosures going on in the home. For the children, we have a new mental health partner that provides free therapy sessions. For the entire family, it's nutrition in the home that's necessary to focus on eating the right anti-cancer foods in and out of treatment, so that survivors and their families can thrive after cancer. And the care packages, we make them custom catered to anyone in their diagnosis if they need lymphedema sleeves, whatever it is they need along their journey so that they can focus on beating the cancer and thriving after cancer.
Wow. I had the great privilege of being chairperson of your jazz gala recently. And we raised money. You all do a remarkable job in the community. And I was able to see and talk with survivors at that event face to face. And when I tell you the joy and the spirit was infectious, it was an amazing opportunity. I think more men need to get involved in these spaces. Number one, all of us got here by way of a woman. All of us got here by way of a woman. So whatever you all's fight may be, it should be our fight too. Number two, you got to have resources. There are funding programs being frozen, some being eliminated right now. Everyday people have to do more. Everyday people have to do more. So I want to talk about the funding and the resource side of this, Anisa, in a very real way. You all do so much and you help so many people and you have a national organization now. What are some of the funding requirements and how can people partner with you?
Thank you first for serving and showing up. That event was successful because you showed up and supported that. And so really do appreciate it on behalf of the board. An extra thank you. As far as funding, we're still seeing the hits. It's changing and pivoting. I think our federal contracts were strongest with the CDC and Department of Public Health. And so that disappeared and we don't know if we'll ever get that back. And those were unrestricted funds that helped, extend our program to ensure that we have the right team members on our, fighting with us and out in the communities as a grassroots organization. And so it's been extremely difficult. We're still dealing with donor decline. We have government workers where our, donors, it's affecting every single part of our revenue right now. And we have 38 families on a wait list for help. We get phone calls from all the major research organizations right now who are asking us through their patient navigators and social workers for us to help them provide additional resources for their clients. And it seems, we just can't get the funds enough coming in as fast as the applications are coming in for those who need support.
Yeah. And I want to say to all of my audience, Anisa takes this stuff home. She takes this stuff home with her. So if you're looking for a sincere advocate and you want to guarantee your money goes in the right place, make sure you support I Will Survive, Inc. I'm going to come back to you, Anisa. I want to hear from Dr. Gentry. Obviously, you are very much so alive. You are very much so active. You are very much so engaged. So what was the difference from that doom and gloom report they gave you when you were 31 years of age to who you are today? What made the difference for you?
Honestly, I have to give it all really to God. I know that, that's it may seem like the direct answer, but God really gave me an opportunity to really adjust my mindset. I think in those moments, oftentimes where you're met with despair and you feel like all is lost and there's no hope. And for me, God gave me the decision to evolve or repeat. Those were the words that he told me. Either I need to evolve into this woman that prioritizes herself and her self-care, a woman that takes ownership of her body and makes the decisions to go and get mammograms, or I could repeat the same habits of stress, of underlying depression, of doing too much and putting myself on the back burner that would eventually lead me to another diagnosis or worse. And so I knew in that moment that I think for me, it was just a mindset shift of choosing myself, choosing to pursue all of the beautiful things in life and to fight for that life.
Yeah, you say you were 31 when you got diagnosed. Looks like you're 25 today.
Hey, thank you. I'll take that.
Amen. Anisa, for those who are watching the show, I want to do three things. I want to make sure they have a phone number to call if they would like to contribute or partner. I want to make sure they have a website to go to. And I want to make sure we put up that QR code again for people to scan. There you go. So we got 1 out of 3 already out the way. Make sure you scan that QR code, make a direct contribution. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And this is one of those organizations serving people directly, and they are not stopping just because there's a funding shortage. They're simply revamping their solutions. That's all they're doing. So they're continuing to provide the services nationally. Anisa, if you would, give out the website where people can go to contribute, and also a number, if there be one, where people can call to partner.
Absolutely. At our website, www.iwillsurviveinc.org, and to call us at 404-483-8503.
And if you would give us some parting words, what would you leave us with in this month?
I would leave you with, remind that loved one, get those screenings done. And so there's no age on this. I started mammograms at 28 because my mom passed away at 38. And so if you feel something abnormal, please schedule and go see your primary care provider to get that mammogram taken care of. And if we catch it early, we find it early, we increase the survival rate 95% or more. And so that's what we want to see. We don't want to see any more lives lost from breast cancer.
Well said. This organization changes and saves lives. Thank you so much for all that you do. To every viewer, you know what to do this month. Thank you both.
Thank you.
All right. Remember, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Take care of the planet. Remember, the truth is always indisputable.